Hi, it's Linda from Barlates Body Blitz, and for today's coffee talk question and answer, I'm going to be talking about the dreaded question of cellulite. But first of all, I need to show you my very essential addition to my winter wardrobe, which is my slipper socks. Aren't they cute? Polar bears, and they're fluffy all the way inside with this special fluff. Really warm, really toasty, so definitely essential. Even though in Australia the winter doesn't get very cold, so I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but in degrees Celsius, the coldest it will get down to at night might be about 3 degrees, and then during the day it's usually about 15 degrees on average. It might get a little bit colder for 1 or 2 days, but in general we're very, very lucky here on the west coast of Australia. We've got beautiful weather and it's still 25 to 30 degrees outside at the moment. Nice autumn weather. So back to the topic, cellulite. One of my viewers asked me, so what can you do about cellulite? Number one, a lot of it can be genetic, but the way I see it, cellulite is worse when it's unsupported. So cellulite is just fat, basically, that forms little dimples. And like any fat, it tends to look worse and be more dimply and saggy when it is not supported by muscle underneath it. So the areas that most women get cellulite is obviously on their butt and thighs, and that's just something that nature has decided because childbearing hips and all that. Some people also get cellulite in other areas like on their stomach or on the back of their arms. So unfortunately, even skinny people can get cellulite. It's not something that you have to have a lot of fat in order to have cellulite, but the best way to minimize it is definitely not only to have less fat, which obviously means less cellulite, but also to really work on creating lean muscle in the areas where you're prone to storing fat. So it's a combination of eating right and exercise, as we all know. Unfortunately, you can't really spot reduce as such. We know that when we go on to a healthy eating plan and maybe cut some calories or change the way we're eating so that we're eating more nutritious food and less junk, that it is an overall loss of fat. You can't necessarily just lose fat off your problem areas. But having said that, you can definitely spot tone or spot strengthen your muscles. So if you do a lot of barre exercises, a lot of my mat workouts for glutes, for hips, for outer thighs, for inner thighs, that will definitely help to create that lean muscle there in order to support the fat better, which means less dimpling, and also it will help you to burn more calories throughout the day, because the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate, which means you burn more calories just even in your everyday life. So no matter what, getting a bit more muscle is beneficial for your metabolism and burning fat. Eating right obviously is going to help, not eating more calories than your body needs and eating them from right foods. I have heard a theory that fat stores all the toxins that you eat, and that cellulite tends to be dimply and unattractive because it's got all the toxic stuff in there that your body then eventually eliminates because it's a safe storage place that doesn't affect any of your other organs. So I'm not so sure, I haven't done enough research into it, whether that's definitely a fact, but it kind of makes sense. Either way, eating toxic stuff with lots of preservatives and lots of names that you don't even know what they mean, eating food that your grandmother wouldn't know what it is, that's probably the sort of food you should avoid. I know we've got very busy lifestyles and we usually go for things that are packaged just because it's easier, or we eat out a lot and we don't know what they're using in their meals. So it could be a discipline thing of going back to basics, maybe doing some meal prepping, maybe starting to cook larger portions and freezing some so that on the days that you're rushing home from work and it's late and you can't be bothered cooking, instead of reaching for that processed food, you've got something healthy that is homemade. A lot of people do meal prep on a Sunday, for example, so that they have all of their meals ready for the rest of the week. I personally am not that extreme, but I think it works for a lot of people, especially if you're very busy and you get home late at night. So you might want to consider doing that. If it's really important for you to get rid of the cellulite or even the body fat and just to reach the goals that you have set for yourself, as long as they're realistic goals, then you need to make those changes to work towards them. You can't just expect them to happen if you're continually just doing the same old thing. You have to change something. So whether it would be your exercise routine, maybe adding a bit more cardio. You don't have to do cardio in order to lose weight, definitely not. But if you have been doing the same sort of routines for years and your body's used to it, then adding in something new may shock your body into giving up that fat that it so readily hangs on to. So being women, especially, our bodies are very smart. They try to hold on to fat for a rainy day. So if you get to a lower body fat percentage, it's extremely difficult to shift the last couple of kgs. But you can do things to keep your body guessing and to kind of trick it into allowing more fat to be released as fuel so that you can get rid of that extra body fat. So there's not going to be a quick fix. A lot of people will try things like special creams or, might even go as extreme as getting liposuction. But ultimately, if you don't make healthy lifestyle changes, then even if you get liposuction, the fat can come back in other places. And I actually know someone, a guy actually, who had liposuction and he had it taken from his belly. And then when the fat came back, because those fat cells weren't there anymore, it kind of came back in a weird way in other parts of his body. So you don't necessarily want to get lipo unless you are going to make the changes to then make sure the fat doesn't come back in some other weird place, because you really don't want to end up with ginormous arms or neck or I don't know. Get my drift? I mean, I don't know how medically correct that is, but I have heard that once you get rid of fat cells, they don't return in the same area. So anyway, that's my wisdom for you. Definitely don't worry about having a little bit of cellulite. Learn to love the parts of your body that you do like, and don't worry so much, and don't, like, when you look in the mirror, immediately hone in on the areas that you don't like, because other people don't even see that. They don't even look at that. And you can easily find swimsuits that hide those problem areas. So if you're already very slim and you're doing all the right things, you're eating the right food, you're exercising regularly, doing all the right types of exercises for your trouble zones, and you would have to literally kill yourself and eat nothing in order to get rid of that last little bit, then do yourself a favor and try to learn to live with your imperfections. Nobody's perfect. Even supermodels will have areas in their body that they don't like, so you're better off just getting a healthy body image and looking for other things to find your fulfillment and acceptance from. Don't look at your body and try to be perfect in order to feel happy. It just is not going to work, because there's always going to be something, and let's face it, as we get older, not saying that you have to, but most people end up losing some of their skin elasticity, losing some of their muscle mass, maybe getting a little bit more flabby around the middle after menopause. There's going to be changes happening in your body, and if you don't learn to be happy apart from how you look, and just be happy on the inside, then you're going to be going through lots of up and downs, and you're not going to be fun to be around. So do yourself a favor and don't worry about it too much. But if it's something that you haven't really tackled in the past and you are ready to make that change, then look at your eating, look at your exercise routine, mix things up a bit, maybe add in a bit of cardio for fat burning, gain some muscle to increase your metabolism, and just overall just try to lead a very healthy lifestyle. So once again, it's an answer that one size doesn't fit all. Everyone is kind of specific Everyone's body works differently and things work well for one person that may not work well for other people. So it's really a matter of trial and error. But if you are using my mat workouts, especially my bar workouts, all of those workouts are designed to streamline the muscles. They're not going to bulk, so I'm not using heavy weights that creates a lot of bulk, which actually just pushes the fat further out, so it looks like you've got even bigger, legs if you're worried about your thighs having cellulite. So it's not necessarily the best tactic to build muscle fast by using heavy weights, unless you're also losing the fat at the same time, which is very difficult to do. So using bar exercises, Pilates style exercises, will give you tight toned muscles but without the increased width. So it's going to look at all of the smaller supporting muscle groups, make more definition in there, and actually make your legs narrower rather than wider. So hopefully my exercises work for you. Have a look at my playlist, my lower body playlist if you're working on your lower body, or abs and core if you're trying to get rid of some fat on your abs. I've got an upper body playlist. So in my playlist, everything's itemized according to body parts, and have a look at those and maybe try something different that you haven't tried before. And eating, obviously 80% of it is nutrition, so make sure you're eating clean and not eating too many processed foods and overeating calories. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any more specific questions, please leave me some comments below. Also, let me know what other topics you'd like me to talk about in up and coming coffee talks. And if you liked it, please thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing a whole new range of workouts. There's going to be a yoga wheel series, using the yoga wheel more in a Pilates mat style rather than your traditional yoga poses. So it will be accessible to more people, and lots more workouts coming up. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.